muscles to survive the winter. Thank you for paying my bills tonight. These lands were once primarily occupied by our Osage Nation. Now, there are 62 local springs. Each spring has a unique magical or medicinal healing property. The Osage was a peaceful tribe. They would let other tribes have access to the healing spring waters, including ones they were at war with. Just drop your weapons on the ground. Don't fight anyone. Stay peaceful. You're welcome to have some nice clean spring water. Legend goes a Sioux chief had a daughter who was blind. He used water from our healing basin to flush out his daughter's eyes. Story goes she was able to see within a few days. Unfortunately, our Native Americans were relocated, primarily towards Kansas as well as the Oklahoma Territory. These lands were unoccupied until the 1850s. A town called Berryville developed next door. There's a man named Dr. Alvin Jackson. His son's got a terrifying medical condition called granulated eyelids. Has anyone heard of granulated eyelids? Nope. So, pretend like you have sandpaper on the inside of your eyelids. When you blink, it's going to scratch your eyes. Sleeping does not help. We have rapid eye movement when we dream. It hurts all day long. Alvin Jackson heard the story about the Sioux chief's blind daughter. He wanted to fix his son. He asked his friend Johnny Gaskins, who was a bear hunter and more familiar with this territory, if he knew where the healing basin might be located. Johnny gestures vaguely in that general direction. Alvin Jackson takes his son through the heavily pollinated woods. We have a little season here we call the pollinating. All of the trees start snowing this neon yellow powder, and the dust covers everything outside. When they made it here, his eyes were very crusted over and very inflamed. They come across this giant bowl carved into limestone. It has crystal clear water running through it. He feels like that might help out his son, so he starts splashing out his eyes. 3 days later, the condition was completely cured. This is due to a bit of a hygienic issue. We take baths and showers on a frequent and regular basis, right? You guys more than me. I'm a grunge rock singing hippie. I work outside. I live in an art community, but I smell a little better than our ancestors 170 years ago. One is a brand new technology. If you get granulated eyelids nowadays, the first thing they do is give you eye wash, purified water to rinse the debris out of your eyes. You ever get like the eyelashes or the mascara, the glitters, the little bugs flying in your eyes? They didn't have our modern common sense to just use water to get the dust out of your eyeballs and the pollinating. We're never getting eyelids as bad as his son. To be fair, the water completely cured him, so he starts barreling up the water. He carries it back to Berryville, and he starts to sell lots of little bottles as his miracle eye cure. He makes a fortune selling water as medicine. The pharmaceutical industry refuses to change. I will discuss that all night long. Now, his friend Judge Saunders gets this skin rash, like a leg infection thing. They decide the little bottles of water will not be enough to help out his leg. So Judge Saunders begged him to lead him to the basin. And he swore up and down he won't tell anyone his secret location. Alvin Jackson agreed. Takes the good judge through the woods to the basin, lets him bathe, wash off your boo-boos. The rash disappeared a few weeks later.
Maybe you don't put some water in there.
Like any good politician would do, he kept his promise. He didn't run off and give away the secret location to anybody. He told absolutely everyone that he met. A few years later, the Tulsa World found out. A big newspaper printed in Oklahoma. It put the exact pinpoint location of this land with 2 maps on how to get here from different directions. 20,000 people ventured through the mountains to create Eureka Springs, Arkansas. Now, our population currently is only 2,000 year-round. We're shoved together like crowns in a box or like sardines in a can. I don't know how 20,000 people, navigated here through the mountains before there are roads. There's no roads, there's no infrastructure, there's no plumbing for them to take a shower. The smell is a scary story. I will leave that one in the past. 20,000 people build civilization by destroying the surrounding nature. You see these pretty trees behind me? These are brand new baby trees. We're in a new growth forest. The founders of the town had to clear the woods. You have to build your homes and your businesses, heat your home in the winter when it's cold, cook your food. No electricity back then. Well, by the time the last tree gets cut down, there's no root system left with which to retain all the sedimented dirt inside the mountain. The next time it rains, and it does, it sets off a series of completely man-made and catastrophic mudslides. We accumulated between 4 and 6 feet of mud everywhere downtown. This is still called Mud Street, like the Mud Street Cafe. I will discuss how we solved that problem later on mid-tour. That's just some history you need to know so my other stories make sense for you guys to see.
Let's try. Didn't even see if he hopped in it. Glass packs.
Alright, we are next to the courthouse because our most recent ghost tale. This is 30 years ago, 1994. There's a woman in 1994, her name's Louise Berry. She was very admired and respected around these parts. In fact, she managed to become our town's beloved mayor for consecutive terms, like back to back to back. Eventually, Louise Berry retires. Her last name spelled like a